Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. My name is Louis Mendes. Hope you guys are all well on this fine Sunday morning, first Sunday of the British summertime. And, well, the Addicts got the winter closed in a very nice fashion indeed, with a fantastic result yesterday, 4-0 win against Huddersfield at the Valley. On today's show, we'll look back at that game. Joining me to do just that. First up to right, Tom Wanlin. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Good to see you back from your travels. Not a bad homecoming, that one from the Addicts yesterday.
It's all right, isn't it? Yeah, Australia's nice, but it's not the Valley. So, yeah, good day yesterday, wasn't it?
Don't see Australia beating Huddersfield Town 4-0 anytime, do you? Also, bottom of the screen there, a man who weirdly is wearing the same shirt as me, despite the fact we've both never worn this shirt before, is Ben Cloak. How you doing, Ben?
Hello, mate. I'm good. Yeah, last time I wore this shirt, I must have been about 13 years old, I think, and found it. My mum had it in the loft, so I thought I'd give it a go. And then, look, we've made Tom the odd one out with his yellow shirt.
Yeah, well, it's a yellow shirt's gone out of fashion again now that I've stopped wearing it. So on today's show, then we'll look back at yesterday's game. We're going to hear the goals in a little while. We're going to hear from the Addicts boss, Nathan Jones. We've got a interview with TYREECE Campbell as well later on in the show, the man who always lets his football do the talking. We want to hear from you guys as well. Morning to everyone who's joining us in the chat. Sam's in there, says another outstanding performance yesterday. Every player was brilliant. Man of the match was TYREECE Campbell. Didn't stop running all game and scored 2 brilliant goals. All hell let loose is in there. Bernie's in there. Jake, Keith, Mickey's in there. Paul, Spam, Chris, Mike Salmon, Shinyfield. Let us know your thoughts on yesterday's game. I can't imagine anyone's got a bad word to say about that performance. One of the best, if not the best performance of the season. Let us know your thoughts. studio@charltonlive.co.uk. You can tweet us at Charlton Live, or you can add a live comment in the chat. Tom, just before we hear the goals, I mean, what can you say about yesterday? It was just perfect. It was absolutely brilliant. It was one of the best days we've had at the Valley for a while. The whole thing just came together superbly. The PSA testing in the morning went really well by all accounts. The former players gave everyone a lift before kickoff. We were 1-0 up within 30 seconds, and we absolutely battered a side who on paper are also playoff challengers. It was just the perfect day in SE7.
I think you just said it in the intro there. I think that's the best performance of the season by a distance. And yes, they're in sixth. I don't know if they still are, but they were. I know they've been on a bit of a bad run of form recently, so you take that into account. But they're still in the top 6 or top 7 places in the league. So I don't even think you can just say that they were bad. I just think we were absolutely relentless. Yeah, I woke up obviously a bit jet lagged and was like, oh, do I come to the game? Do I not? And I'm so glad I did. But then throughout the game, the sorts of challenges that sometimes we come unstuck, you score early. It's like, are we going to be able to keep it up? You go 2-0 up and it's the dangerous scoreline. There's all these little things that could go against us, but we just kept relentlessly battering them, not giving them a sniff. And as I say, whatever you think of Huddersfield at the moment and the run they're on and the state that they're in, I just don't think that matters. I think hands down, that's by far and away the best performance of the season. And if you're another team in those playoff places, you're looking at that performance and you're probably very scared because, yeah, this is a team, Peterborough game aside, hopefully a one-off, that just are going from strength to strength at the moment. And they just look they just looked so good. It was such a delight to come back and see a performance like that and be like, oh yeah, we haven't really lost too much. I know we had the Peterborough result, but it was just a great game. And as you say, with everything else that was going on around the club yesterday as well, just a really good day.
Yeah, wonderful day in SE7. Let's have a listen back to the goals then. Brownie was busy with all his mates yesterday, so it's Greg and Tell from Charlton TV.
For that, and Balker will again tidy up, but the ball out. It's a risky one, and it's picked off by Small. He's on the outside of the right. Ball into the box. It's a great... Oh! Yes! What a start! But he got it with a header. Plants it beyond the keeper, and Charlton have the lead.
What a start that is. Well, an absolutely brilliant start for Charlton. It's a loose ball that's picked up by Small. Advancing down that right-hand side, a lovely ball in, and Matty Godden is alert. Gets across his man. It's a brilliant header. The cross is perfect, though, Tal. The cross is absolutely perfect.
Huddersfield diagonal ball from Coventry, trying to pick out Campbell. He'll find him eventually. And Campbell in the area takes a shot. Oh, what a finish by TYREECE Campbell. A lovely long ball forward, which was headed away, I think, by Pearson. And it dropped to Campbell on the left side of the penalty area, and he drilled it across Nichols to give Charlton a 2-0 lead.
Well, this is the reaction we wanted to see from this Charlton group. They've been superb these first 15, 16 minutes. And TYREECE Campbell, who's spoken in the week about trying to get a few more goals added to his name. Firstly, credit Luke Berry. It's an intelligent header out to Campbell, but I think he just catches Nichols out. Takes it early, but it's a great finish. From Ruscombe, but there's that man, Connor Coventry. Lovely ball, finds Doherty. Now Berry on the left-hand side is Campbell. Opportunity here for Charlton. Campbell cuts inside. Come on! With the finish. It's another wonderful Charlton goal, and it's another brilliant TYREECE Campbell finish to give Charlton that third that they've been looking for.
Well, we said last week he got into positions against Peterborough where didn't seem to want to pull the trigger, wanted maybe to get it on more perfect position for his left or his right foot. But on two occasions now, the first goal and now this one, makes his way into the penalty box, opens his body up and planted that shot beyond Nichols, who had no chance.
Godden comes back to Campbell. Campbell lays it off. Doherty, chance for the Charlton captain. Hits the crossbar, then hits the goalkeeper, and Charlton have their fourth, and Greg Doherty's going to claim that one.
All day long and twice on Sunday, he'll claim that. Whether he'll get it or not is another issue. It came back off the crossbar. Was it going in before it hit the keeper and nestled in the back of the net? I can't tell. Maybe you'll see better from the replay, Greg. The Addicts have a 4-goal cushion now. And the crowd are loving it.
Loving it, they were indeed. As Elliot says in the comments there, the joy on the commentary was just great to hear. And as Chris says, Brownie needs to stay away if this is what happens when he isn't there. Well, he was not commentating. He was hanging out with the Nordic quintet who played a big part in yesterday as well. We'll come on to that. I mean, Ben, what a great day! What a great day it was at the Valley. So many excellent goals. The great start. I mean, the level of performance from minute 1 to minute 90 was just top. It was superb. It was. I think, as I said to Tom, I think it was the best performance of the season. Sometimes you don't always get your reward as well when you're playing that well, but we got it in spades yesterday.
Oh, mate, the day was unreal yesterday. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of my most favourite days of the Valley in years. And I think that is because we're actually going for something and we're not shirking under pressure. Last week, all right, little blip, and we've come back with that performance yesterday. Let's not forget as well, Huddersfield in their last game, they were 3-0 up in 16 minutes. So we know under this new manager, they started well last game. And with that high press that we just brought yesterday, it absolutely terrified them. I think you tweeted at one point how their fans were booing them because we were 2-0 up and it just kept giving us the ball and we just kept capitalising on it and chance after chance kept coming. It was just relentless, absolutely relentless. If there was ever a chance to redeem yourself from the week before, they did it in spadefuls, didn't they? Absolutely superb performance. I totally agree with you. Best performance of the season, because when you look at the opposition we're up against, a playoff rival, a promotion rival that have been there and thereabouts this season. I thought about Doherty because obviously in the return fixture he got sent off, so he had a little bit of a point to prove as well. And it's just all coming together, isn't it? I mean, we've spoke about how the goals have come from the whole team this season. But without those goals from Matty Godden, they just prove vital, don't they? He proves up to his nickname of the sniffer dog. I mean, to capitalise on their mistake in that first half, Thierry Small just did superb to press, run down the wing, superb cross. And I know their guy slipped a little bit, but Godden's header was just superb. And that was just like the whole point of our day. It was just, we were in their faces. We were, as Tom just said there, they were scared of us, and we are going to be that team that teams are going to be fearful of. Forget top two or anything like that. We just keep this run going. This home run is just incredible. And as you've said before, you get third, you get fourth. Who's going to want to come to our ground in the second leg of the playoffs? It's just, yeah, such a good feeling at the moment. You were right earlier saying with the former players there, and then they're singing karaoke in the Oak afterwards. The PSA testing went well. I went in the museum after the game. Luckily, the chaps that run that kept it open late, and I took my dad round there. He'd never done that before. So, yeah, it just felt like such a great day yesterday, and the weather helped as well, didn't it? But, yeah, long may that continue, man. That was amazing.
Well, as Nathan Jones almost said in his interview with Charlotte yesterday, there's no better place to be than in South East London when the sun's shining. At the Valley, sitting in that lower north as well, catching the sun, Tom, I imagine, as you were. The tone was set immediately from the very off of that game, 31 seconds. Not the first time we've scored that quickly this season, of course. TC did it against Cambridge. But, you know, it was set with Huddersfield looking a bit lackadaisical with their passing out the back. But, you know, you only make a team look lackadaisical with their passing out the back if you press onto that ball. And Thierry Small, I thought, you know, he probably going to go a little bit underrated yesterday, but he was superb yesterday. His crossing was on point yesterday, and the way he read that, got to the position, put the crossing, and then that ball for Godden. I mean, it was a great cross. It was one of those really inviting crosses, but it's still a superb header as well. But that was from 30 seconds in. We said to Huddersfield, right, you are not going to have a good day here.
Yeah, and when you think of that Cambridge game with the comparison of the early goal, we made that nervy for ourselves. And that's what I mean about yesterday. You go 1-0 up that early, everyone says it, cliche, I know, difficult scoreline. You go 2-0 up at half-time, we've seen ourselves throw that away. You think back to, was it the Wigan game a couple of weeks ago, and we then concede and make it nervous for ourselves. We had all these little challenges that we kind of just overcame time and time again. So, yeah, to score that early isn't always a good thing. But yesterday, and it goes back to what Ben was saying just there, the relentlessness of the press, that just didn't drop at all. So it forced that first goal, it forced the other goals, and it just forced them into mistakes time and time again. I'm looking at the stats at the bottom of the page as we're talking. They had more possession than us in the game. But every time they had that possession, it was largely in their back four. And if they did get forward, they were continually having to turn around and knock it back there. And then as soon as they did, you're right, the likes of Thierry Small, TYREECE, Matty Godden were just on them to the point where they'd hoof it long and we'd get possession of the ball again. And, you know, I don't want to criticise anything about yesterday, really, but it's funny that when you see the likes of Chuks come on, you realise how the press is suddenly missing from the likes of Godden because he can't move around in exactly the same way. Obviously, by that stage, yesterday's game, not a problem. And I thought Chuks actually was okay, unlucky with his goal, obviously. But yeah, that press is fundamental to the way Nathan Jones wants this team to play. And when we get that right and we press as a unit and we press high up the pitch, we're a very, very difficult side. It's only when we get that wrong or players are slightly off it that it can be an issue. But yesterday just wasn't the case. And as you say, from minute one, we were on it. And I just don't think we stopped pressing until, I don't know if they pressed them into the dressing room after the game and forced them in there because it just didn't look like they were ever going to stop. They might still be chasing them up to Huddersfield. I don't know. It was just sensational performance. And to have that energy at this stage in the season could go a long way, given we've got at least 6, hopefully 7 or 8 more games to play.
Yeah, so I thought I saw Greg Doherty on the hard shoulder going up the M1 at one point, and Connor Coventry just stayed right on the M25, just sort of protecting the south. But yeah, he did his job well as well. Yeah, all hell let loose says Huddersfield played it around at the back, okay, but they never looked like scoring all afternoon. Yeah, and I mean the defensive display was part of why yesterday was so good. Mike says him and his mother are both watching today for Mother's Day. He said it was the best game. What an absolute treat for your mum there, by the way, giving her Charlton Live on Mother's Day. Very comfortable 4-0 win. The second goal, I mean, I might have renamed this pod the TYREECE Campbell Hour at one point because I was tempted to, but he answered a lot of the criticism from last week. I think that's fair to say, Ben. And you know, it was interesting that during the week he did that interview with the Evening Standard and reference that he knows he needs to get his numbers up a little bit in terms of end products. But I mean, did that yesterday and then some. The first goal, again, not the goal that we're used to seeing TYREECE Campbell score because he got the chance. He was, you know, again, ball one high up the pitch. Berry nods it across. I mean, it was a good nod across from Berry, but actually there was still a fair bit for TYREECE to do to bring it down. But he hits it almost immediately once he doesn't hesitate on the chance. Ben, he just strikes it as soon as possible, and it's a fantastic finish into the bottom corner. And again, that's exactly what someone like TYREECE, who's still learning the game, still young, still learning a new role. That's what he's going to be adding to his game and getting better and better as the season goes on. And that was a fantastic finish.
It was, mate. I mean, he just oozed class yesterday, didn't he? He just looked so confident. Every time he got the ball, he was on the front foot, didn't look behind him and just like went at defenders. And at times during that second half, they had 3 or 4 players on him. And obviously they sliced him down for that free kick as well later on in the second half. I mean, I'm just so pleased for him because we know he's someone that can come in and out the game, but when he's on his game, like the other week against Exeter when he scored an excellent finish, he can provide moments like yesterday where keepers just don't have a chance when you put it in the corner of the goal like that. But you're right. I think the goal came from him being confident. Maybe he doesn't strike it first time if we're not 1-0 up. I don't know. But being 1-0 up like that, everyone kind of looked confident. I know Docky had a shot outside the box and you're thinking, what's happening here? But again, came from the press. Coventry was brilliant. Godden was just an absolute menace all day to them. And yeah, great little header over to him. Our goals weren't coming from free-flowing passing movements. They were coming from us being hungry and wanting it more than them, which is great to see, isn't it? It's like Jones is just on the touchline, pushing them, and we can see that in their play. And yeah, I mean, the finish was just brilliant. The way he just takes it down on his right, across to his left, smashes it into the corner of the goal, posting in. Just brilliant. Loved it. Absolutely loved it for him. And yeah, obviously on this pod last week, a few people were kind of calling out, saying they wanted the Peterborough player Odo instead of him and saying, oh, well, he does this. And obviously he silenced those people today. And I know we can all be quick to jump on that, can't we? If we have a bad performance, we're all like, hang on, why did we have a bad performance? Oh, we didn't play well. And you kind of forget where we've come from. And for someone like TYREECE, I think this season he's come on leaps and bounds from other seasons. And I know I read the same article you were on about in the Standard where he said how Nathan Jones has really built this confidence in him and really driving him on this season. And yeah, it's like, we were crying out for him at the start of the season, a ball carrier, someone to take us up the pitch, have a few shots, be a bit daring. Wasn't doing it at the start, but gradually him and Thierry have just become so good at that. They just bring us that massive aspect of our game that we were badly needing.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan says, I feel like a few players had a point to prove after Peterborough. TYREECE was well up for it. You could see that Anike was desperate to score as though when he came on, thought he did well. Trim says, TYREECE Campbell over Odo any day, which is, I think, the complete opposite of what was being said last week by some. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. And I was thinking earlier, like I was thinking about something that Lee Bowyer once said about Naby Sarr when Naby came like second or third in Player of the Year. And Bo was saying, you know, when I first come to this club, he was a dead man walking. You know, he was walking around. So, and if you think about the progression that players make in their time with the club, and if you think about TC, you know, under Apples last season, when I think there was big questions about whether we'd keep him or not, but when Nathan came in, he clearly saw there was something there to work with, and we've bore the fruits of that this season, Tom. And that third goal, I mean, I personally enjoyed TYREECE's second goal and our third goal more than the first one because that strike, the first one was a true strike and across the keeper and stuff. But where he plays, you want to see him cutting in on his right foot a bit more and just unleashing that shot. And I was right behind it where we sit in the gantry, and I could see there was one tiny sliver of goal that he could aim for if he could just bend it around the defender and the keeper. And he pulled it off. It was such a good goal. I don't think the TV camera does it justice from how well measured that strike was. And that was my moment of the game. It was just superb.
It shows what confidence to a young player like that can do, doesn't it? And yeah, I was watching them do their shooting drills in the warm up, and I don't know if anybody else saw it, but Tyrese, he must have had 4 or 5, and every single one was postage stamp in a corner. It was sensational finishing, and I was like, why doesn't he ever do this in games? We see him score goals, but why doesn't he do this in games? And then he did it twice, and apparently, I can't remember who said it to me. It might have been the guys I sit next to said Nathan Jones has said he does that all the time in training as well. But in games, as you say, he maybe gets a little bit rabbit in the headlights, or he panics, or he makes the wrong decision. And all you want him to do is exactly that. And people are saying it in the chat too. Cut inside, use your right foot and smash it. And that's exactly what he did. And as you say, it wasn't just as simple as that either, because there wasn't a lot of space to aim for. But to have that confidence to do it, yeah. And, it's maybe a lazy comparison, but given everything we were upset about when Corey left off the back of last year, I think TC at his best is better than Corey at his best. The consistency is the issue. But I think he's more dangerous. I think he's more of a goal threat for sure. He's just got to get that consistency, and that takes time. He's still so young. But you're right. This is what we're seeing from a coach who can work with players. This is what we need for a squad. We need people like Bowyer did it so many times with midfielders, didn't he? How many players came in and did good things under him? Jake getting forward into the box. Conor Gallagher coming in. Okay, a Rolls Royce of a player, but look at where he is now. Bowyer could do it. Nathan Jones can do it. I don't think there's many people in between who necessarily could. And so credit to Jones for that. Same with Karoy. I know he only has seen patches of him, but he was another one that in the summer we were like, well, hopefully Karoy will go or go out on loan. But he stuck with him and we weren't sure why. And I still think he needs more quality, but you can't fault his desire and his work ethic and his tenacity and his energy. Even we haven't seen, I've just seen Spamfish put it in the chat. Actually, I was just about to mention Kanu, maybe not seen quite enough of him yet, which is what Spamfish is saying. But most of our youngsters have improved under Jones. And I think lots of the other players too. I think TC is ultimately going to get man of the match yesterday, and rightly so. But I thought Doherty yesterday was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And where he came from in the start of the season, where even as captain he was getting dropped, I just couldn't believe how good he was yesterday. Same for players all across the side, really. And it's just a joy to watch. After everything we've been through over the last few years, it's a joy to watch. And as Ben was saying earlier, whether it's second, whether it's third, fourth, fifth or sixth, I don't think it'll be outside the playoffs, and hopefully not. But if we're still in the mix, then it's just fun to be part of it again. And it's fun watching Charlton. And yesterday was the nadir of that, of course, the best performance we've had. But even where we're scraping wins, it's just a really good place to be. And the players are thriving off that. The crowd was bigger yesterday, I thought. Certainly the atmosphere was excellent yesterday. And all of that is just, that momentum is just building all around the club. And it's just really fun. Really, really fun.
Yeah, and there's no chance we don't get playoffs. Now, the only way we don't get playoffs is if we sneak second, because, we've got an 8-point gap, albeit with Huddersfield have a game in hand. But do you fancy Huddersfield to chase down 8 points based on what we saw yesterday? No, absolutely not. And we're talking about an 8-point gap to second. We're thinking, oh, it's not possible. Like, there's no way we don't get playoffs minimum now. I think, we've earned it, and we've earned it big style with the way we played over the last 3-4 months. It's been superb. There's so many good comments about TC in the chat. We'll talk more about him later as well, because as I say, we've got an interview with TYREECE Campbell that I know everyone's really looking forward to. But yeah, Paul saying the amount of times in previous games I found myself yelling at him, cut inside and hit the thing. Yesterday he did, and how? Well, Paul, you take a lot of credit for that. The fourth goal, again, TC involved. So this is where you do get some things that the TC stats don't quite tell the full story, because Tyrese don't get an assist for that, even though he was the one who played it to Doherty. And that's why this big chance is created that he's on, which is 11, which is the highest in the division is 15, which is Joe Powell at Rotherham, but he's on 11, only 4 behind. So he's sort of joint 6th or something like that. He's doing bits, but he played the ball to Doherty. Because of the way that the goal ends up going in, he won't get the assist for that. But yeah, Doherty deserved a goal for his performance yesterday. Unfortunately, doesn't get one. Lee Nichols doesn't deserve an own goal against his name for his performance yesterday, the Huddersfield Town goalkeeper, but he gets one because he was the only one who was keeping him in it. He was the only one playing. I can see why he was their skipper yesterday for Huddersfield, but It's just so annoying that that's the rule, that if because it's hit the bar and it's not gone in until it's hit the keeper, it goes down to his. Because Doc deserves something for his display yesterday as well.
Yeah, he does, mate. It was a real captain's performance by him. I think he led by example. I think the stuff you probably don't see as a fan. I know he kind of rallies the troops a lot of the time. Him and Lloyd are often fist pumping to the rest of the players, and that just keeping everyone going. And yeah, it is a shame with Tyrese not getting the assist there, because as I said earlier, like if you freeze frame it where he's on the ball, just about to nick it through to Doc, he's got 3 men all standing around him, like wondering what he's going to do. Is he going to cut in on his right and shoot again? And that just brings all the defenders across the box to him and leaves players open. And as I said earlier, like we've got goals all through this team this season, which is great. And the confidence was just oozing through. As I said, Doc had a good shot in the first half, which forced the keeper into a save. People were up for it yesterday. Like, let's have a shot. And yeah, obviously Doc had a great goal earlier on in the season against Bolton. Similar, really, actually. Edge of the box on the half volley. So yeah, it's a shame it doesn't go down as his goal. But again, it just came from us capitalising on their mistakes. Couple of little movements in having a shot, and yeah, I did feel a little bit sorry for their keeper, as you said. I mean, he absolutely got peppered yesterday by our attack. But yeah, nice to see that we were doing that this week rather than being on the other end of it. But yeah, it was just relentless, and it was just great fun in the stands. Everyone singing that Tyrese Campbell song. And then, yeah, nearly Chooks put the icing on the cake, which would have been lovely, because you can just see he gets so angry with himself. But yeah, lovely for Doc, because as I said, this game in the return fixture, he got sent off and he came under a lot of criticism. I know Tom mentioned that earlier. We were kind of wondering what kind of player he was going to be for us, what kind of captain, and then to score the fourth goal yesterday, albeit an own goal, was a great moment for him. 1-0 cherish, kind of redemption from that, and we're really seeing his true qualities now, not just as a captain, but as this centre midfielder that kind of leads the rest of the team too.
Yeah, Dean saying it's good to see Edwards back yesterday, gave us a bit more balance in the team. Yeah, I think his return can't be sort of underplayed, how important he was to see him back in the side, Tom.
He was absolutely excellent. As you say, it's that balance, I think, that him and Thierry Small give us. And again, I think we're 4-0 up by this point, but when Tanai comes on and Thierry goes to the other side, and Thierry looked tired, I couldn't believe he stayed on for the whole 90. But yeah, I thought Edwards just being there, and that whole back five, we've said it a lot. Even, I don't even want to say even Gillespie anymore, because I don't think that's fair. I think the performances they're all putting in are to a level where people like McIntyre, who's come in on loan, people like Alex Mitchell, who was a huge part of our team, let's not forget, for the early part of the season, and doing good things in there. I just think they're excellent. You look at Ramsey, obviously coming back, Edwards having come back from a couple of injuries, or a couple of times out the side, Lloyd Jones having an injury. Now they're all back. Now they're stable. Mannion obviously has had a fairly good running goal now for the last few games. I've said it for years and years and years, but that consistency there is huge. But yeah, the majority of our threat, I think the midfield controlled the game yesterday, and then the threat tends to come from the wide areas. And okay, most of that is Thierry Small and Tyrese Campbell, but Edwards is a huge part of that as well, that balance that he gives. Yeah, and you can see it. It's it's not a coincidence that he comes back into the side and that defence look more balanced, and we see more attacking and exciting going forward. So yeah, again, it's one of those things that we've spoken about a lot this season. This team's taken a while to gel. The likes of him, the likes of Luke Berry that we've questioned at times, Doherty that we've questioned at times. Everything's just sort of falling in. Even Godden, I know Nathan Jones referenced it the other day. There were periods where we weren't quite sure at the early part of the season, but they're settling in. They're getting to know each other. We've said time and time again that it's a process. And yeah, it's just got a really nice feel to it, this side. As I say, there's a couple of players I've mentioned, but you could go through every player yesterday. I just don't think there was a bad performance in there. Everyone was important. Everyone played their part in that victory. And yeah, it was just great. So yeah, obviously keeping those players fit now is huge, and we've done that for large parts of this season, but we're into that business end now, and it's just important that we can try and keep them all fit. Obviously, Lee Burn's out at the moment. But yeah, if we can do that, I think we're just a dangerous side for anybody at the minute.
Yeah, and Mike Salmon's asking how many clean sheets we're on now. We're up to 18 now in League One. 5 we got last season. Just always nice to remind everyone of that fact. Elliot said a good omen on Friday. I saw Lloyd Jones in Sainsbury's. That's where you saw him as well, Ben. I wonder which branch it was, Elliot, because you saw him in the Elton one, didn't you, Ben? Was it? Yeah. All right. Let's keep. If someone can keep a spreadsheet of which Sainsbury's Lloyd Jones visits, we'll try and keep on top of that information before the end of the season. Just finally, then I think we've spoken briefly about him, but Connor Coventry again yesterday, Ben, ridiculous. like he's been so good, and again probably one. He doesn't go under the radar because I think fans have noticed him, but he doesn't get a big cheer every game. He doesn't like fly into a challenge every game. He just reads the game so well and does his business quite quietly.
Yeah, you're right. And I noticed yesterday actually when he went off. The fans were singing his name, which I literally cannot remember them doing at all this season to him. So that was nice to see because, yeah, I think he does go under the radar in games. But yes, I think because of our press and the way we broke down every play they were trying to create, and obviously for that third goal, him and Godden, the press and then the little pass from him to set up the move was just brilliant. And that just highlighted the work he does in that midfield. The ground he covers, and it does go unnoticed, but I think it gets highlighted when something doesn't go wrong because you go, oh, what's happened with Connor today? But yeah, he's really grown into that role, hasn't he? I think as a free, him, Doc and Berry, I know Tom was just saying there about how having that consistency at the back has helped us grow in relationships and passages of play. But I also think with those three in midfield, their relationship and they know where each other are going to be. Berry hovers around the 10 role, around Godden. They're creating a good relationship. And yeah, I just think, I know we've had a couple of injuries lately, but I think in these key areas, the players that have got the relationships in the defence and around that midfield, I think are massive for us because having that spine through the team, we're able to set off these flair players like TYREECE, like Thierry, that can then go and push us ahead. But these ones working in the middle, like Connor, are really the engine room of the team. And that you can just see it's just flowing so well. Everyone knows their role. And yeah, and then great yesterday they were able to take these players off, give them a bit of minutes into Tuesday. And then Karoy, I thought, did quite well when he come on. And nice to see Kahim as well have a little run out. So yeah, it's something to be really pleased of. But yes, hopefully we don't get injuries in that part of the field.
Excellent stuff. Right, Elliot confirms that Lloyd was in the Elton branch of Sainsbury's. Again, he needs to mix it up a bit if he wants to tick off how many Sainsbury's are there? That's like ticking off the 92, but you've got to get to every Sainsbury's in England before the end of the season. Right, let's hear from the Addicts boss, Nathan Jones. Still got plenty of your messages to come to here on Charlton Live, but let's hear what Nathan had to say after yesterday's emphatic win against Huddersfield Town. Nathan, that was up there with probably your most comprehensive performance of the season.
Yeah, look, I don't think from start to finish you'll see a better League One performance than that. You know, I again, don't want to over-egg it or be disrespectful to anyone, but that was pretty complete. You know, from start to finish we were outstanding in both sides of the game. Our press, our energy, our aggression, how we moved the ball, how we created in the final third, and to be fair, you know, their keeper had an excellent day as well. So, you know, 4-0 didn't flatter us.
Yeah, you want to set the tone straight away with the way you won the ball high up the pitch and then scored immediately.
That shouldn't shock you, really. I mean, we're an aggressive team. We press high. We go after teams. Last week we had a game where we got caught a little bit, but we were exactly the same: aggressive, high press, won the ball back. Just weren't as clinical as we were this week. But you know, we debriefed earlier than we normally do. So I wanted to get it out of the system and say to him, look, that's how we play. That's how we play. And at times, teams can risk and reward and leave players out and not track you, and they got lucky. You know, last week we come up against a very good front four that caught us on a day where we were a little bit cold, but realistically we were exactly the same last week. And this week to bounce back in that manner against the level of team that we played today was very, very good.
For TYREECE as well. I mean, he spoke in the week in one of the newspapers about wanting to just add a little bit more end products, and he's done that in spades today.
I'm glad he's saying that because that's what we tell him. So look, TYREECE is a young player learning his trade. You know, we've had a year with him pretty much but he's developing. There's plenty more to come, but he's a joy to work with. Every day he works hard. Every day he comes in, with a smile on his face. He's a threat, and we love him. And we're very, very fortunate to have him at this football club as he's come through a wonderful academy. So, but there's more to come.
Yeah, and I was going to say that the progress he's had this season, it shows how much you've been able to bring him on in his new role.
Well, that's it's a dual thing, really. We have to give him the work and demand from him and keep him grounded and keep him, and put him in the right areas, and then he has to respond. And to be fair to the kid, he has responded.
I guess if there was going to be any nervousness at it only being 2-0 at half time, then he put that to bed really early as well in that second half.
Well, it's not a bad place to be, only 2-0 against other playoff contenders, because these are a very, very good side. Come down from the Championship, very big budget, spent heavy in the January window, recruited well in the summer. So realistically, this is a wonderful performance, and you have to consider the level of performance. I watched the team fold against them the other day. Got the manager sacked, and I demanded from ours, because I didn't want that to happen to us. But I've got a group here that don't fold.
If it is to be playoffs this season, what do the results you've had recently against sides in and around you say about what could come at the end of the campaign?
We're not looking at playoffs. We're not looking at anything happening in May. We've got Mansfield on Tuesday night, which we're looking forward to. So that's the be all and end all. We won't look any further.
You mentioned about putting last week behind you as well. As I said, after the last 2 defeats, we followed up with five wins and a draw in the next 6 games in each of them. So it was just about making sure that didn't affect you, I guess, today.
I'll take that again, But this team's in a level now. It has a level. At times, that can happen. And against Peterborough, it can happen. They've got a wonderful front four. Their front four, with the greatest respect, probably won't be in League One next year. So they can do that. And at times, they take risks. So when you attack, they let you attack and hope that you don't score, and then they're ready for a counter-attack. That's what some sides do. And that's what happened last week. When there's big open spaces, then they can hurt you on the counter-attack. But I didn't want our team to play any differently. I wanted us to be aggressive, because that is our DNA. So we didn't tweak and we didn't panic over last week's results, because realistically, we had 25 shots. We had 25 shots last week. That don't happen often in a 3-0 win. You go, wow. They had 20 goal kicks, so it showed we had territory. We won the ball back high. It's just we weren't clinical. This week we were clinical, we were aggressive, we were everything I wanted us to be. And I'm proud of that performance, because it takes a lot to bounce back, and then you think, can they go 2 weeks? No, this is the side, just changed the manager, just spanked Crawley, and can they come here and do that to us? So it was a tricky fixture, but thoroughly professional.
Yeah, big crowd today as well. It shows that everyone's really come on board over the last few months.
Yeah, and we want more. We want more. They want to get. This club has been at the higher echelons, as we said, of English football, and big crowds, full houses and stuff. We'd like to get back there. Obviously, it's going to take time to get back to the higher echelons, but the full crowds can happen any time. So we welcome anyone.
You made a quadruple sub in the second half. Obviously, the game was in a very good position at that point. So a chance to give Kaheem Dixon some minutes. What did you make of him?
Well, it wasn't to give minutes. It was a fact that I wanted to maintain the intensity. And look, bearing in mind with the 3 games in a week, the levels that Gordon, TC, Berry and Josh Edwards have put in to get us into that position, I wanted to maintain that. So I felt we and then when you bring on, we brought Tenai Watson who saw the game out well, and then you bring out Chucks, Kaheem and Karoy, aggression, energy, athleticism. And then we saw the game out, and I said we should have had a pen. It's an absolute stonewall penalty. So it showed that we wanted to finish. We weren't taking it lightly. We wanted to go on and keep that intensity, and the ones who came on did that.
Clean sheet number 18 as well. We should mention that as well, because the forwards always get the praise after a 4-goal show, but it's another good defensive display as well.
Well, look, we said, and we were harping back in a year ago about saying we've got, last year the club only kept 5 clean sheets in the season, which isn't good enough to achieve anything apart from a relegation. If you continue like that, if you don't score goals and don't keep clean sheets, then that's a tough place to be in. And we were in a position where we as a club, and including me, I didn't change it drastically because we didn't keep clean sheets. So we knew that we had to lay that foundation. It's taken a bit of time to lay that foundation, but we have it. Now we're evolving as a front-footed side, and we're gathering momentum because we're better this week than we were last week, and last week we were better than the week before. So it's it's about evolving and being better week in, week out.
And it's Mansfield on Tuesday. I mean, the game against Mansfield here at the Valley was the start of this long unbeaten run at home, but I imagine it's probably a very different Charlton side even to the one that played then.
We don't know. We are us, how we've evolved and what we are now. I have no idea about Mansfield or anything, but it's a real tough place to go on a Tuesday night. You'll travel up there. But look, we'll prepare for that and go after the game.
PSF Steel Limited is a trade supplier of steel fabrication and erection services to the new build, construction and refurbishment market in southern England. With their unrivaled depth of experience, they excel at providing their customers with high quality and cost-effective steel fabrication solutions. Their customers include national and regional house builders, such as Barratt Homes, Bellway Homes, the Vistry Group and Taylor Wimpey. They pride themselves on their service-based ethos and commitment to customer service excellence, which includes full technical backup and on-site services and support. If you would like more information, go to www.psfsteel.co.uk. That's www.psfsteel.co.uk.
Hello fellow addicts, I'm so excited to tell you all about our micropub, the River Ale House. The River Ale House is based in East Greenwich. It has 6 Pub of the Year awards, an ever-changing selection of amazing beer. It's owned by Charlton fans, walkable to the ground in just 20 minutes with buses that go direct to the Valley too. If your matchday routine includes a drink with your friends, you must join your fellow addicts in the River. See you soon.
Well, welcome back to Charlton Live. Just for the break there, we heard from the Addicts boss, Nathan Jones, after yesterday's 4-0 thumping of Huddersfield at the Valley. Obviously very pleased with the performance yesterday, Tom. Anything sort of stand out for you there about his mannerisms? I mean, he's just a much happier man now than he has been at other times in the season.
Yeah, he's still keeping you on your toes, isn't he? He's still testing you, but he just exactly that. He just seems very relaxed. Whatever anybody thinks of those mannerisms, he's clearly very comfortable in himself and what he's doing. He, I think, believed that at the time that we were struggling, and obviously it's been vindicated now, and he's more than happy to tell us that whenever that happens. But yeah, I think he knows the side he's built. I think he has absolutely no doubt in their abilities, and as we've said before, he is not going to let their standards drop for a second. And I see people putting it in the chat, even that Peterborough game, we played okay, the stats were there. He will not let them drop. He will push them till the very last, and that is their job. Let's not forget that. So we don't need to sympathise with them there. But I'm delighted with the way it's going. I always like listening to your interviews with him because it sounds a little bit like a test. He's just doing a brilliant job and wears his heart on his sleeve. We've said that over and over again. Really feels the wins, feels the losses, and as he says, we do have to go again now because it's Mansfield on Tuesday, and it's the usual well-coached side, difficult place to go, all that jazz. But again, you don't want to undo beating a top 6 side, a bit like the Peterborough game, by then throwing it away against Mansfield. We have to go and get the 3 points there as well, because we think second might possibly be out of the question, but if we can go there and get a win, we've still got Wickham and Wrexham to play. So until it's mathematically impossible, he's going to go for that. And the likes of the Mansfield game, the Cambridge game, the Northampton, if we still got to play the sort of teams that are down towards the bottom, we've still got to do the job against them. That Burton game on the last day, it might come down to that. So we've got to make sure that when we come up against those sides, that we just do the same as we're doing when we're playing the bigger teams. And so he won't let them rest for long. He'll keep them going. And got to hope to get 3 points on Tuesday as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that stood out for me yesterday, Ben, in that interview was how much we referred to last week's game. So he referred to it almost immediately. And then when I actually asked him a little bit more about, it's just a good reaction, he spoke quite a lot about last week's game. I think in his interview with Charlotte, he referenced some of the stick they got. It wasn't a great deal of stick. By the sounds of it, there was probably 1 or 2 people, including apparently this fella that gave me the cream egg at Peterborough Station after the game last week, I found out after. But he uses any perceived slight or any difficult stage of the season. He really uses that as some sort of motivation, as some sort of fuel for him. You can see it's in his mind all the time. He knows what can happen if things don't go well. He knows what can happen if we don't win a game, and that really seems to drive him on. He uses he uses defeats as a massive sort of motivation for the next game, and you can see it because he's saying it. You can see how much it hurts him when we lose games, and he wants to put that right.
Yeah, massively. I think because he's such a man motivator as well, he must drill it into the players to kind of redeem themselves from the week before's display. But he was quite keen to get across that we actually wasn't really bad against Peterborough. We did play quite well in spells and we had our moments, but obviously they capitalised on our mistakes and they're just so good on the break. And obviously went on to say how good those players are for them. But as we've got the evidence, haven't we, that as you said in the week, when we lost to Rotherham, we then went and beat Bolton away. When we lost to Birmingham, we then beat Exeter at home 3-0. So I think that probably gives the players a lot of confidence that it doesn't hang over us, these defeats. We're quick to get on the training ground, work out why we lost the game, work out our weaknesses from that game and just focus on our positives. I know he says it a lot and we laugh about being the best versions of ourselves and focusing on ourselves, but that's literally what they do. It's like try and get the errors out of our game, but focus on what we're good at. And yesterday, we're so good with the press and turning the ball around. We did that yesterday from minute one, and we just came at them and blew them away. And that's a team up there in the playoffs, so we can take so much confidence from that. But we can also take confidence when this team has a setback. We've got the evidence. We've got the team that can turn it around again and show us why we're up there and why we've got so much confidence. And yeah, I think that even suits us well for the playoffs. Like if we were to have a bad game in the first leg, we know we can turn it around in that second leg, and especially if we're at home with this amazing home record we've got now. Was it since the 1980s? We've never won 8 in a row like this. So yeah, I know he kind of palms over it, but we've got to remember where we came from last season. It's just an unreal turnaround since that Mansfield run. As you said, that home game when we drew 0-0, and that was a very depressing game. I remember not many chances in that. To be where we are now is incredible. Enjoy the ride. Don't think about Wrexham and Wycombe. Let's just enjoy ourselves like yesterday. Because they weren't playing until 3 o'clock, everyone was fully on board and just loving it, rather than looking at their phone going, oh yeah, but Wrexham are winning. Who cares? Enjoy this, because we haven't had it for years.
Yeah, and Tommy says, good team. When you react to losses like we do, and yeah, that's what we did. McSquared emailed as well, so that was exactly what was required after last week's defeat. It was about as one-sided a match as you could possibly have at this level. Huddersfield played more like Chihuahuas than Terriers on that show, and they'll find it difficult to make the playoffs. Our strikers well and truly had their shooting boots on, and we should have won by more. With our recent home record, no side will relish the prospect to come into the Valley under the floodlights in the second leg. Says it looks more likely that Wrexham and Wycombe will be battling out for second. But you know, we've got to keep up the immediate pressure as what we can. He says also he says not the size of away following you would expect from a supposedly bigger club than Charlton either, for that matter. I thought they bought enough, to be fair, yesterday, and not many of them were left beyond the hour mark, to be fair. But yeah, I thought Huddersfield bought a lot of fans yesterday, and yeah, you could see their disappointment with the outcome. And Ben said don't worry about Wrexham and Wycombe, but let's worry about them very briefly, Tom. If we win our remaining games, was it 8 now? Was it 6, 7 now? It was 8 before yesterday. Then we'll end up on 90 points. So we'd have to win all of them. All right. And that's sort of 90 is sort of the benchmark. So, I mean, we can only do what we can do now. I guess you can't worry about the other sides because we can't affect that. But if we do what we can do, then who knows what can happen?
Yeah. And I kind of sit somewhere in the middle. I don't think we should be worrying about them at all. But if we get a win, it's then good to know what's happened to them. And that does make a difference. And as we've said, we've got each of them to play. So, obviously, if we win those games, they're not going to have won them. So, look, and I think we've all said it on this show at some point, if we finish 6th, we're in the playoffs. We'll take that. But it's getting to the stage now where 3rd or 4th should be our expectation, I think. And we're just moving into that. And we don't want to get arrogant. We don't want to get carried away. But the way we're playing, and obviously that home leg in the home fixture being the second leg doesn't guarantee anything anyway, but it is a benefit. You start to think, well, actually, we don't even want 5th or 6th. We should be pushing 3rd or 4th. If we win the next couple of games, and obviously we've got Wickham coming up in Easter in a few weeks' time and Wrexham as well, then suddenly you're like, okay, well, 3rd is the minimum we expect now, and now we're in 2nd. But at the same time, if we lose to Mansfield and we lose to Lincoln next weekend, we might be going, do you know what, let's just cling on to a playoff place. So it's going to change week by week by week. As I say, I don't think we should worry about what the other teams are doing, but I guarantee on Tuesday night, if either of them are playing, we'll be keeping an eye on it. I guarantee next Saturday when we're playing Lincoln, we'll want to know what they're doing. And where we don't worry about it is if they win, you go, okay, as you say, nothing we can do about that. But if they don't, it's like, oh, okay, we've clawed 2-3 points on them here. Here we go. And it creeps up a little bit closer. And if we were to get within one fixture of them, so we get within 3 points of either of them, then it's so exciting for the run-in. And if not, fine, secure a playoff place and let's see who we get and go from there. So, yeah, I'm not worried about what they're doing, but I am interested in what they're doing, because if we keep playing the way we are, then it's not out of the question yet. But as you said, results need to go our way. We probably need to win all our fixtures and need them to slip up. But, you know, stranger things have happened.
Lovely stuff. Right, let's hear my exclusive interview with the guy who got 2 goals yesterday for the Addicts. TYREECE Anthony Tupac Shakur Campbell came to speak to me and me alone in the press room after yesterday's game. Congratulations, a great performance and a very big win today. What did you make of the game?
Thought we dominated from start to finish. Good performance from the team. 2-0 up at half time. Usually we struggle to get the 3rd, but it was good to get the 3rd today and put the game to bed.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been speaking in one of the newspapers during the week about wanting to add just a little bit more end product to your game, and you did that today, didn't you? Yeah. Talk us through your first goal as well. Both great finishes, but the first one just had to sort of drive it across the keeper.
Yeah, I saw that there was a guy in front of me. I thought if I just hit it across the keeper, you might see it late, and winning, good finish. Yeah,
and as you say, I mean, the second one, I was sat right behind it, so I could see the sort of the measured shot you had to do to bend it round the keeper and round the defender.
Yeah, I work on that shot a lot every day after training, and all the coaches and the keeper. So good for it to come off today.
Yeah, was that playing on your mind today? Let's say you did that interview with the Standard, I think, during the week about scoring more goals. Was that playing on your mind today? You're thinking I'm going to try and put that right today?
Yeah, do that I try and score every game.
Yeah, and the performance itself against a side like Huddersfield, who are obviously also pushing for promotion, what does that say about the form that Charlton are on, that they can beat a side like that so comprehensively?
We're just all positive, all on the same goal, and we're just working hard.
I mean, the start to the game couldn't have gone any better for Charlton. Obviously, Thierry stepping in and winning that ball high up the pitch, and obviously we know what Matty Godden can do with a cross like that. But it just showed how fast Nathan asked you guys to start games.
Yeah, he asked us to, the first 15, start the game fast, and it paid off today and made it a lot easier.
Yeah, and in terms of it felt like one of the most one-sided games we've had out there. Is that what it felt like when you're playing out in it?
Yeah, it felt one-sided.
I mean, the atmosphere in the ground was superb again. Obviously, it helps when we're scoring goals and winning games like that. But what was it like to play in front of a crowd when it's like that?
It's good, positive. It gives us so much confidence on the pitch that we're not afraid to try stuff. And it helps when everyone's happy.
The momentum that the side's been on, particularly after obviously what happened last week, it's always important to bounce back. But you have done over the last few times when you've lost games, you've gone on great runs immediately. Was that sort of just your plan to come in today and try and react quite well?
Yeah, that was the plan today.
Again, I think after last week, a lot of people were saying maybe top 2 is looking quite difficult. But if you pick up the same sort of run you're on before, I guess there's still a chance if you can string enough results together that you might be able to chase down some of those sides above you.
Yeah, just try and win as much games as possible and see what happens.
Just looking at the season for yourself, we were talking to Nathan about how much you've come on in your new role as the season's gone on as well. Have you sort of seen your progression this year?
I have. From the start till now, I think I've improved. And I want to thank the gaffer for helping me. Yeah,
because he's picked you pretty much every game in that position as well. He's given you a lot of belief, I guess, with the trust he's shown in you.
Yeah, gives me his belief in me, gives me confidence on the pitch to try stuff that I'll do in training and stuff. So yeah, thankful.
Yeah, saw another young lad get a chance today, obviously in Kahim, who seems to have settled into the club quite well, but hasn't had as many minutes as perhaps he would have hoped for. But how pleased were you to see him get a game today?
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
What's he like in training? Because the fans are always really interested in him.
He's good in training, top player.
Yeah, excellent. And just looking ahead to Mansfield on Tuesday, and the games come thick and fast as they will do between now and the end of the season. But so it's another big test. What are you expecting?
I don't know. Try and win the game. Yeah.
There you go, TYREECE Campbell in conversation with myself there. I hate having to cut interviews short, but I could have gone on for another 20 minutes there. But I think TYREECE let his football do the talking again. Tom, it's not his job to come and speak to me. I'll say this every time after we speak to him. He could come and say no comment like it's a police interview. As long as he keeps doing what he's doing on the pitch, I don't really care. Absolute baller.
Maybe you're the reason he's playing so well. Maybe these interviews are the fuel that's feeding him. Because straight. I understand he was player of the match and he scored 2 goals yesterday. But why are the press team going in and going, right, TYREECE, you're going out again? He must, because he's not comfortable in those environments. As Chris G said, it must be because of you being so alpha male. But I'm the same. I don't care. Go and score a hat trick every week and then come and say nothing to you. That's fine by me. It's funny because he does the whole celebration with the finger over his lips as well, doesn't he? But then he comes out and he does the tunnel jump and he does all that, and he's got a bit of character about him on the pitch. It's just clearly he's uncomfortable in that environment, and we've seen young players be like it before. It's absolutely not a criticism of him. As you say, that's not necessarily what he's paid to do, certainly not primarily. So do what you want off the pitch, TYREECE. Just keep doing what you're doing on the pitch, and we'll all be happy.
Yeah, definitely. Right, Mansfield on Tuesday, Ben. They've just won their last 2 games, which they could have done without that, because I think they'd gone 13 without winning one before that. If you remember, well, I think when we played them when it was 0-0 at the Valley, I got a feeling they were sort of in and around the playoff places, and we sort of saw, and maybe we sort of came out with, well, maybe that's a good point, I guess, against the side, but they've absolutely fallen off a cliff since then. Whereas obviously we've gone completely the other way. So I can't see it being a very similar game to the one we played at the Valley back in, must have been early December, when we go up there on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was going to say their form was opposite to us in January. That game kind of started us off on a really good run, and it went the opposite way for them. Yeah, I think you're right. They were up and around the playoffs. They had Evans right at the top of the goal scoring charts, and then their season's turned right around the other way. What we could hope for is that because now they've got these 2 victories, they might have been looking over their shoulder, because they were only 5 points above the relegation zone, obviously just coming up last year. They're full team for the moment. That's probably far beyond their expectations that they hope for. What we could hope for is that they might be on the beach a bit now after they've won 2 games in a row and kind of secured next season, really, and they're comfortably in mid-table. So, yeah, look, we know that these Tuesday night games, it's not like we've gone to teams. I know with the Crawley game, kind of nicked a win there. It's quite hard to run this intensity that we provided yesterday to Saturday, Tuesday. But it's another big game, and we got to back up our performance yesterday again in Tuesday's game. We know with a few players out injured now, we don't have the luxury of bringing on Miles earlier on in the game if the game's not going well. So we've got this amazing record where if we score first, we carry on to win the game. So hopefully another fast start against a side that, look, they aren't playing for much, but they'll be playing for pride and trying to get as high as they can this season, because it's a good season for them. And obviously you're looking forward to the game because your favourite player plays for them. So hopefully he has another Ricky against us, maybe a sending off again.
Deji Oshalaja, when I think he's come close to scoring a couple of times again, or has he scored? I can't remember, but I didn't think he was our best player when he played for us, but it sounds like he's done all right for the other clubs. But it's just sort of a running joke between me and the boys that I didn't massively rate him when he played for us. I love this pettiness from Dutchy, by the way. Has anyone seen that Huddersfield fan who joined our group chat in November and said we were the worst team he'd seen at the John Smith? Saying that's a good memory, that Dutchy, because I don't remember that at all. But I love the way you've probably got a notebook full of everyone who's wronged you over the season, ready just to rub it in their face. Our team news, Tom, for Tuesday. again, we don't really make changes unless we have to. So I can't imagine there will be any, unless you can think of anything I've not thought of.
Nah, not unless players are tired. No, or got a little nick from yesterday. I think just go as is. Obviously, Ramsey had that nasty tackle first half. Jones went down, didn't he? I think in the second half, but both carried on. So no, I don't think so. I just don't see why you would. Again, a bit like Ben was saying earlier, you just don't look too far ahead. Just look at the next game. We have to beat Mansfield first and foremost. So play your strongest 11 and go from there. So yeah, I think just carry on as we are. And yeah, hopefully we're 3 points better off come Tuesday night.
Lovely stuff. Right, we've Dutchy says, like Nathan Jones, I feed off the negative comments. Good. I like your style, Dutchy. Right, we've run out of time on this week's Charlton Live. Absolutely flown by. It's always good fun speaking about a massive win and the performance, the likes of which we saw yesterday at the Valley. Massive thanks to everyone who's joined us live in the YouTube chat. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss another show. You can also check out our merch store as well, charltonlive.etsy.com. Pick up your Charlton Live mugs based on old away kits. I just want to shout out as well, actually. I should have done this earlier in the show, but to Brownie, to Lisby, and to Sue, and everyone involved in the Former Players Association for getting those 5 lads over yesterday. Because I don't think I was watching the videos of everyone in the Oak after, and I was just thinking, like, that is an unbelievable thing that Brownie and everyone has sorted for those fans to spend that time in that pub with those players after the result we just have as well. But like, so it weren't just those 5. Obviously, Liz was in there. Big fat Peter Garland was in there and loving it as well. Like, it just looked like an unbelievable event, and that sort of thing just makes days like yesterday extra special for the fans. So well done to everyone involved in getting those lads over and to those lads for coming back. Yeah, I just thought that was absolutely brilliant. So well done everyone. Tom and Ben, been an absolute pleasure speaking to you guys this morning.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, chaps.
Lovely stuff. Right, I'm Louis Mendes. This has been Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. We shall see you again on Thursday when we'll look back at the game against Mansfield and ahead to next Saturday's home game with Lincoln. We'll see you then.